Hello, and welcome to another edition of the IIABCAL Voices. I'm your host, James Lott Jr., and there's two things I like in life. I get to play with my hair, and I have a new hairstyle today, a little curly, trying to play it off, and meeting new people. And I got made a new friend in the business. Of course, she comes from my favorite company, it's the Morey company. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She is the Community Relations Coordinator there. She also is part, like I am, part of the Asian American Insurance Network. She's a Trojan from USC, Bachelor's in Communications. That's what I do, communications. And she recently won, make sure I have this correct. We win things, like make sure it's correct. Japanese American National Museum's 30 Changemakers under 30. Okay, who is this? We're going to find out. Sara Hutter, how are you, girl?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yes, it's great. You look great. So, okay, I want to start with that first. The whole 30 Changemakers. So you won. Okay, well, first of all, who are the Japanese American National Museum association? Like, who are they?
So the Japanese American National Museum is the museum that's based in downtown LA in Little Tokyo. And their mission is to really share the Japanese American experience and make sure those stories are told and throughout history and into today. And then now, as we're kind of going into a new generation and a new phase, I think that they're also really trying to connect stories from these younger generations and how we can kind of pull from all of the people in the community that are continuing their mission, but not necessarily just the history, but also into what's going on today. So, yeah.
It was one of those things where it's, as we get further away from the old country, further away from the baby boomer generation, the greatest generation, the folks who came here, many who came from Japan, there's a whole different experience happening for Japanese Americans.
Yes.
Isn't there? For people your age, millennials, Gen Z, there's a whole different world that's kind of probably a mixture of the old plus the new, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think it's how we can kind of tell those stories and honor that past, and then as well as share the new stories and experiences and how those kind of can blend together. Yeah.
It's a rich culture. So, I mean, on here, my godfather's Japanese, raised with him, Hayakawa, that's her name. And it's just, you should never forget where you come from. You should never forget where you come from. It can be useful and a great lifting up of what you're doing today. I don't think that, history is just, forget about it, it's history. No, it's important. And as we see today, things could go back to that again. So we have to be very careful. We should always celebrate our heritage, shouldn't we?
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Now, but you won from them 30 Changemakers under 30. So what does that mean? And congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, honestly, I was very shocked to have been nominated. And even to be selected, it was just a huge honor. I think there's so many people in our community who are doing incredible things. So just to be honored among them was really great. We all got together and had a big celebration just to highlight everyone and what they're doing in the community, not even just here in California, but across the nation for the full Japanese American community and experience. So extremely humbled, but it was really fun to get to talk to other people and also be able to share in that space kind of what we're doing as an organization and within the insurance industry, which I don't think maybe is as highlighted often of what we're able to do in our communities that we serve as insurance agencies and brokerage. So it was really humbling and really honored experience.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The word is changemakers. And that's something, because you are a community relations coordinator for J. Morey, but you just said something that's very important. I want to highlight a little bit is that insurance, everyone needs insurance, whether it's home, auto, business, health, whatever, you need insurance. So that's your community. Mm-hmm. But you're right. No one really talks, we talk about it on this show, of course, but out there in the ether, no one connects that insurance is community, for the community, by the community. So when it says change makers, what does that mean to you? Because you're one of the change makers. I know you're humbled by it, it's a big thing, but just what does that mean?
Yeah, I think that it's kind of a huge word to use, but I think just being a part of the Morey company and the organization of ori-gen that we're creating here, I feel like we're really establishing that change of not only giving back to our Japanese American community, but also diverse communities across the board, and finding ways where we can either make an impact, whether through like sponsorships, donations, in-kind donations, employee volunteering. So I think really changing the culture and the mindset around maybe a traditional insurance agent or agency of being able to go out and do things in our community that are making an impact and making a change in a positive way. So hopefully living up to the change maker title, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where it's, it's outreach.
Right.
You're not talking the other day. It's marketing, it's outreach. I know for me, there are people who look like me, people who look like you, who don't know about what we do sometimes. So it's about outreach. So are you guys really working? I'm sure you guys, that's part of your plan, is working out to people who may not know that, oh yeah, we have Japanese American brokers, or we know certain cultural things that we're here to help. Is that some part of things that you do too?
Yeah, definitely. We've recently expanded our team here too, where we have a Korean practice leader, we have a Japanese practice leader, and I think we're going to kind of expand that even more. So really not just being able to serve those clients that are in those communities, but also how we can do more, and not just provide them with insurance, but also support those organizations or those nonprofits or those people who need us or are looking for other ways that we can get involved. So,
and we're in Southern California, where it is very diverse.
Definitely.
Literally, we're not talking. I always tell people, it's not just one Asian culture out here. There's like 20 or 30 that are out here, that are here, and then also, Black cultures and Hispanic cultures and Middle Eastern. There's a lot of cultures in Southern California, especially. So that's a wonderful thing. I heard from Josh, you guys are trying to expand.
Yes.
But at first, at some point, they had to start at a certain level, which was the Japanese community first, showing representation, which I thought, isn't that important?
Yes, absolutely. And our agency was founded by 3 Japanese American brothers. So I think traditionally we were just rooted in that Japanese American community. And now that we've come like over 40 years throughout history of honoring that and staying true to that and just continuing to foster those relationships, it's now looking at, okay, what else can we do? How else can we reach the people that we're working with, no matter what background they come from or nationality they are. So definitely about bringing in other stories and other people.
Yeah, it's insurance can be done by anyone. It's like, it's not just a certain type. But we always think of certain people doing it. It's like, no, it's a teachable industry. Plus, it's when you talked about the other day, it's a vast industry too. What would you say to Asian American females, because you are one? We can't forget that. So we want to talk about that a little bit. So what would you say to them if they're thinking about a career, they're just not sure, or they're looking at insurance kind of, and just like, what were some of the things you would say to them?
So this is something that I think I've learned recently. For Asian American women, I never would have thought of myself ending up in insurance. And honestly, in my day-to-day, I don't really do insurance. I get to carry out our community relations and our community efforts through our insurance agency. So I think if you're looking for an industry to go into, the insurance industry has so many opportunities that are not just like traditional insurance agents. So I handle our community relations. I also do a lot of our marketing, which can incorporate websites, social media, branding aspects. So, really no matter what your interest or your passion is, I feel like there's probably a place for you in the insurance industry. So I would encourage people to try it out and see what you can learn. The people, I think, in the industry too are incredible, and they're always looking for ways to uplift you and connect you with the right people to maybe get to where you want to go. So there's unlimited opportunities for sure.
I want to tell people for a fact, for 11 years, I was at the association of Big I, California, back when it was IBA West. I worked in the insurance skills center. So I worked in education and event management. I planned a lot of the conferences. So that's one. So
Wow.
if you're an event planner or you're leading that direction, there's work in there. Now I'm
Absolutely.
back 13 years later and I'm doing podcasting. So I'm saying so she's right. She says there is what your interest could be may be able to be molded into something that's in the insurance industry.
Absolutely.
That's what we're trying to say. So yeah, I was like that sentence together. That's what we're trying to say. Like that literally there is like she and I right now we're doing communications basically, which is what you went to school for. I know you worked at what was that? Was it ABC for a minute in here in LA? And you worked where'd you
I was an intern, at
yeah.
ABC7.
Yeah. So you went to school for communications. You actually are using it now on some level.
Exactly.
But what was your thought? I'm just kind of curious. When you graduated and you went to intern at ABC, which is a big station here in Los Angeles, what were you thinking at the time you thought would be your career?
Before the internship, I actually had no idea what I was really looking towards. And because of that internship, I learned that there were companies that had a role and a team who provided a space for the company to connect with people in the community. So I was a public affairs intern there, and I worked with a team of 3 like amazing women who were out in their community supporting nonprofits that the station supported. They were helping like people adopt pets and getting that on the news and writing scripts for the community engagement series. So I was like, okay, this is actually something that people can do for a living. Like, this is incredible. So that was my first taste of being able to be involved in the community, but on the maybe like corporate side of things. So that kind of was my first step into it. And from there, I was like, okay, I want to find how I can do this in wherever I go. So
I like that. No, I like that. Well, and sometimes you go to college for certain things and don't use our degrees.
That is true.
It does happen. You get a job, but no, luckily But then, how did you find the insurance business? Like, how did you go from that to that?
So the insurance side, I was involved in a community organization called Nisei Week, the Nisei Week Japanese Festival.
Yes.
So I participated in that program where from 2015 to 2016, we served as representatives of the Japanese American community. So there were a group of young women and we just volunteered with organizations throughout the community. We got to travel and represent the Southern California community to Japan, Hawaii, San Francisco. So it was an amazing experience. And again, showed me who the people are in the community who are making a difference, and just kind of reinforced that I really want to be able to do that as I look towards a career. And through that, I met Ashley Arikawa, who is our Senior Vice President of Sales. And she was kind of moving away from her role in marketing at the J. Morey Company and more into sales, and reached out to me and said, hey, I know that this is your passion and this is what you're really looking for. This opportunity has come up at our company and I think you'd be great for it. So let's have a conversation and see where it goes. And I immediately was sold, just to know that there was a company based in LA and down here in Orange County that is looking to do what I would love to do for a community that I've grown to like love so much. So it just kind of naturally happened that way. And here I am 3.5 years later.
And we love Ashley. She was on the show. So you can watch her episode with me. I'm a big fan of Ashley, so that's good. No, I love it. I mean, I tell people all the time, when you do community outreach for whether it's for business or personal reasons, you make connections and you never know where that connection will lead you.
Right.
You just don't know. So it's good to be out in your community.
Yes.
I just think it is. Were you always a community-minded person? Like when you were growing up and stuff, were you guys, your family involved in your, like for me, I was like my street, everybody on the street, everybody knew each other. Like, were you like that too growing up?
Yeah, definitely. I think the neighborhood that I grew up in, it was really community minded. Everyone was friends with everyone. We were always doing things together. I think growing up, though, I never was involved in the Japanese American community specifically. So that was never really a part of my childhood growing up. But like who my parents are and who my family is, they've always been people who love other people and are always helping other people. And so I think that value has always been instilled in me. So being able to meet the community here has just been a great way for me to connect with that.
So what is one thing that's grown out of that in your Japanese Americanness then? What's some positive things that happened for you?
I mean, I've been able to really learn about my culture, first of all. So I'm half Japanese, but I'm also a quarter Greek and a quarter German. So my family, like I said, was never really involved in the Japanese American community. So being able to get into that and connected with the community there after college has really shown me like, oh, this is the experience here in Southern California. There's so many people who have this similar experience. So that's been amazing. And then, like you said, the people that I've been able to meet through not only this community, but I feel like the API community in general, it's just incredible. Like people who are so passionate about wanting to do things for like uplifting others or for their jobs or the organizations that they volunteer with. So a lot of positive impact. I definitely don't think that my life would be the same without it. So
see, I love hearing that. I think it's just, because it's never, first of all, it's never too late for anything. We all grew up the way we grow up sometimes, and then later your job brought you kind of back to a part of a culture that you didn't really necessarily grow up with, and it's a great thing. It's an add-on for you, just a nice add-on.
Yes.
That's one thing. I grew up with Greeks. I love Greeks. I love the food.
Yes. Oh, so good.
I love Greek Easter with the red egg. Trying to get. I'm always bad at it. My eggs, my side eggs always crack. But I do. I just think I love that we have a place where we can live where there's a lots of different cultures with lots going on, and then you're able to go out there in the insurance world doing marketing communications, and just you showing up somewhere, just you show up on a Zoom. They can see that, oh, okay, it's we may not be used to seeing this, but then at one point, some down the line, hopefully, we'll be used to seeing this. That's what I'm hoping. You and I talking right now, this is something that they don't see all the time. And I'm glad that we're able to do that for people.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. So Sarah, thanks for being on the show. I mean, you're wonderful. I wish you more success, and we're going to follow you, continue following you, and you and I are now connected, so we're connected now online and stuff. So, but thanks for being on the show, and I think you are a change maker. So you're
thank you so much. It's been an honor to be here. Loved talking with you, so really appreciate it.
Thank you. So Sara Hutter, she has the J. Morey Company, and if they want to contact you for any kind of media or outreach, what should they do?
Yeah, so you feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, Sara Hutter, and also you feel free to email me directly. My email's shutter, which is HUTTER @jmoreyins.com.
I'll put in the description, folks. And of course, this show is part of IIABCAL.org. You can go there if you want to join the association, the wonderful association. It's very diverse. Also, our videos and all our stuff's on my channel, JLJ Media. Go to YouTube, and it's all there in a playlist. You'll see that. And plus, we're also on audio, and more and more of you are listening to our audio. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Just go to any streaming service: Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We're everywhere. Just type in IIABCAL Voices, and you'll hear the voices of IIABCAL. I'm James Lott Jr., and we will see you next time.